Welcome back to Beat Up Builds. This time I give you an update on the 4Runner, let you know how everything's working out on there, and going to give you some insight to some future projects I'm doing. The first issue I'm going to address is I need shocks badly. They don't really do any of this where it wobbles around, but when I'm driving, it'll start shaking a bunch. And I'm pretty sure it's the shocks because it'll work fine for the first couple miles. And then after I think the shocks heat up, then it starts shaking. I think the fluid gets thinner and it doesn't work so good. So I'm just gonna put some cheap replacements on the front. I think it's mostly the front I'm having problems with. And then we'll go from there. We'll see if that fixes it. I'd like to do like a cooler suspension setup in the front. So that's also why I don't want to buy expensive shocks and I'm just getting cheap ones. But that's not a project for right now. So just gonna get some shocks, see if that fixes the problem. Also gonna run to some stores, show you how this thing works, give you a whole health update on it. Before I go any further, I'm gonna take you through all the mods I've done on this thing. I did a video a while ago on it, but let me refresh everybody on a quick overview of everything I've done. This is my M90 supercharged 22RE. 90 means 90 cubic inches. The 22RE is actually 144 cubic inches, so it's pretty big for this supercharger. It's actually underdriven from what it would be on the motor it was on. So it doesn't make super cool supercharger noises at the moment, which is a little bit depressing, but it builds boost. It's 6 to 8 pounds of boost, and it doesn't make too much heat. I don't have an intercooler on it or anything like that. Works really well. It's a lot of fun. The motor itself is pretty much close to stock. I've re-ringed and re-bearinged it, maybe around 110,000. I put a new LC Engineering head on it, but it's just like a stock casting. It's not higher flowing or anything like that. And then it's got an LC Engineering cam in it. I think it's like a street cam or something. It's not crazy. It's got 440 lift. That's the one thing. It had like a little bit more lift than like the engine builder cams and stuff like that. So that was one reason I liked it. It had a little more lift, around the same duration as those kind of cams and stuff. But works really well. It's fun. I've got a Trail Gear battery bracket here. I got this for $8. It might help me fit the supercharger. I'm not really sure where the stock battery sat in here, so don't know. I got a relay on here for the starter. That's like a mod. I think there's a way to do it without a relay. I don't remember how to do all that. But that's what I've got for mods. I've got the Land Cruiser Master Cylinder on there, which complements the V6 brake calipers, so it's a little bit bigger than stock. And then the other thing I've done to the engine is it's got a stock manifold, but then I cut the Y pipe off a little bit ahead of this. So they're like 2 3/4 inch pipes. So I cut it and then took a 2.5 inch pipe and banged it down to fit around that. And the stock is like 2 inch or something. It's pretty small. And I did 2.5 inch, so it would flow really well. And ran that all the way back. So and honestly, if you've ever looked at one of these manifolds, it flows really well. It's a really good design. I would venture to guess that this manifold with the modification on it flows as well as any header out there, and it's not a piece of junk like most of the headers are that don't fit, rot out and all that good stuff. So that was a cool little mod I did, gave a little more horsepower. And we got aluminum radiator. I just did that out of necessity. My radiator clogged up. Don't necessarily need this, but it's nice to have. I put an AutoZone electric fan on here. The supercharger, I guess you could probably see it there. The supercharger belt would interfere with the stock fan, which is disappointing. I actually like the stock mechanical fan, but I have the electric fan on there, and the micro squirt ECU controls that. I have a Ford Mustang hood scoop on the hood. I got that for free from a friend. I think it looks really cool on here. It was a nice little fun addition to do. Let's go into the interior here. So under the kick panel is the micro squirt ECU that controls all the fuel and spark for this thing. And then hidden in here, I have an Arduino right here, and that controls the transmission. And I'll probably make a divider in there so I can keep things in there, but I haven't got around to that. So basically what it does is the stock ECU outputs a bunch of different things to show the throttle position to the transmission so it shifts properly. I didn't have that when I went to the stock micro squirt ECU, so I used the Arduino to replicate that. It's not necessarily a transmission controller or anything like that, but it does what I need it to do and it works flawlessly. So I've got the base truck, and the gauges really, I mean, there really isn't any gauges. It's a speedometer, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, and the temperature gauge doesn't work great. Fuel gauge actually really doesn't work either. But that's not Toyota's fault. The temperature gauge kind of is. So I got an LC Engineering gauge pod. I've got volts, temperature, oil pressure in there. Then over here we've got boost and AFR ratio from our oxygen sensor. Those are all my aftermarket gauges. And then one thing that's really cool that I like about this truck is it has Ford Focus SVT seats. So my stock seat broke in the back. They really weren't bad seats, they just broke. And I don't know, I mean, I guess the stock seats kind of suck as well. So I was like, well, let me see if I can replace it with something cooler. And I found these Focus SVT seats, all 4 of them, or front and rear, for $100. And I've sat in Focus seats and they're really comfortable. It's just an ugly car, I guess. It's not really attractive, but these seats are really cool. I like them. And I did have to modify the floor extensively to fit them in, but they fold like the originals. And then the back seat works like the original. It's a 40/60, so that'll fold down, that'll fold down. I just have to take the headrests off. And yeah, it works great. It works just like the original. It's a lot nicer than the original and a lot cooler looking. So big win there. So this is the back. It's pretty messy right now, but I've got these lights up here. They're really neat, and actually one of my favorite mods that I did, really, because you can just close this, you can turn it off, turn it on. The truck doesn't need to be on. It's great if you have groceries, or if you're fishing or something and you need to tie up your fishing lure or whatever. Really good for that. And they're LEDs, so they don't take a lot of electricity, so I can leave these on a while and not really worry about it. So that was a cool mod. And then I put this rubber mat in here. It's like a mat you'd put on the floor of your garage. I got it cheap and ended up with an abundance of them, and caught one to fit back here so things don't slide around. It actually is working really well. I'm happy with that. A lot of fun with that. And here, let's go over this one. You can see it better. So that's my whole latch arrangement and seatbelt, 3-point seatbelt. I do need to move the point up there where the seatbelt kind of goes over your shoulder. I need to move that up a couple inches. I bought some nuts to weld on the roll bar there. I just haven't gotten around to that. It's more or less like it doesn't retract well, but like it pulls out and stays fine. It just doesn't like want to retract very well. So I just want to fix that so it's less annoying. But right now it really hasn't been an issue. It's been pretty low on my priority list. I'll get to that at some point. And then these are Ford Taurus speakers. I got those for free. And they're 6x9s and they sound all right. They're a little they could use like a tweeter in them or something, but they were free and it sounds all right with the front ones. And then there's my subwoofer. I did like a whole video on installing that, and I used a lampshade to go behind it, and it does actually kind of work as a box, like it's holding pressure in there. If you don't use a box, the speaker will blow out, from what I understand. It pounded a lot harder without a box, but from what I read, it will not last long. So I use the lampshade. I will probably use a wooden salad bowl because it'll be kind of the same. It's like kind of a circle shape at some point if I ever upgrade this. But it sounds decent for now. I really haven't cared about it. And I think that's it for back here. Let me show you a couple other things and underneath. For wheels and tires, I've got 235 85 16 on Tacoma wheels. They look pretty good. Got those for free too. Well, I didn't get the tires for free. I paid for the tires, but I got the rims for free. And it's got a 2-inch ball joint spacer lift. If you're not into Toyotas, you're gonna go, what the heck is a ball joint spacer lift? Basically, the upper control arm has the torsion bar on it, so you put a spacer under there and that lifts it up. But that's what I have for a lift, and I went with these tires because they're tall and skinny. I've got a 3-inch wheel spacer I run to match my rear width, and I can't go to inspection with that. That's for off-road use only. And so that's not on there when I go for inspection. And if I run a wide tire, then I'm interfering with the upper control arm, and I have to, like, in the past I've spaced the bump stop down so it doesn't rub. And with these tires it doesn't rub. I don't have to do anything funky. And I think the tall and skinnies are probably going to work really good for what this truck does. And I don't know, it's different than the huge wide tires. So underneath, I've got a Ford 9-inch axle here. And long story, but I ended up with the Ford 9-inch is what I had laying around. I didn't have an axle that would work for this. So I put that in there. It's out of a 79 Ranchero. It's 6 inches wider altogether, so 3 wider on each side. That's why I run the spacers up front to match that width. It's got 410 gears right now with a locker in it. It's got 31 spline axles, and it's way overkill for what I need, but I have it, and it'll support future upgrades if we ever do crazy stuff to the motor. I've got add-a-leafs in the back, so I have, it's honestly too short. I think it's this shorter add-a-leaf, and it makes my springs S-shaped when they flex or when it loads up. So if I get on the throttle, it steers a little bit because the right side spring will get S-shaped and a little bit shorter, and then it'll turn a little bit. And yeah, that's kind of dumb, but it's been that way forever. And one day I'll change it, but that's how it is right now. I've also got a 2-inch block in the back to match the front lift. Basically, the add-a-leaf is fixing those springs so they sit at a stock height. That's all it's doing. And then the 2-inch lift spring is lifting the rear to match the 2-inch lift in the front. So that's kind of what I got going on back here. Oh, and I also have, give me 1 sec, I'll grab you guys. Hopefully this shows up okay on camera, but I've deleted the load sensing proportioning valve, so that's like the bar that runs to the axle and then goes up to a doohickey up here. So I got rid of that, and I've put in an adjustable proportioning valve, and I adjusted that, I don't know, 8 years ago, and now it's rusted solid. So I probably wouldn't mount it up here. In a future video, I'll probably mount it under the hood. Just another one of those things I haven't got around to yet, and I don't know if it actually warrants a full video. So I run, I think they're Ford Bronco emergency brake cables to the 9-inch, and then I made this bracket to mount them to. This whole arrangement, which goes to the front cable, the stock cable, and I had to build some leverage into it because the under dash pull thing has like no leverage at all, whereas your pull-up e-brake would have some leverage to it. So I had to build this arm and kind of put some leverage into it. And then also, if we go down here, I mounted some horns from a Blazer. These were under the hood, but I needed room for the supercharger, so I mounted them under here. And yeah, I got Blazer horns, which are a little bit more meaty than the Toyota horn, which is not very good. And there's my calipers right there. I'm gonna do a cold start. I think it's like probably 70 in the garage. I'm not bringing my laptop. We're going to the grocery store. And yeah, I'll show you the cold start. It also, I think I just fixed this last night. It was doing a thing where if you put in gear right away, it would stall out. So we're gonna test that too. I'll give it a minute. You'd have to let it run like 30 seconds before you could put it in gear. I'm gonna try now and just see if it still does that. No, it's working good. Cool. So yeah, there's the cold start. It takes like 30 seconds for the gauge to warm up, the oxygen sensor. So that's why it's reading rich. But it's been running pretty good. So we're on a little drive. I'll take you with me. I have my 5-year-old camera person, so pardon me if it's a little shaky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to take the EGR. It's still on here, but I had to take the vacuum lines off, so it's effectively not working. I was having some issues with that. It seemed to be open all the time except when you floored it. I need to reinvestigate that. But consequently, I had to kind of retune it again, and I've got it pretty close now. And I'm going to go back and mess with the EGR. But it's running pretty good. The Arduino in here to control the transmission is working out very well. I feel like it's been a few months now, and I haven't had a single issue with it. It just works. So it's been really good. Everything's working out very well on here. I'm not having any big issues. We are going to stop and get some gas, and I'm going to try and calculate the mileages. I have to do some calculations because it's hard to figure out because the tires are a different size, the gears are a different size. So we'll see what kind of miles it's getting. I don't think very good. So yeah, I wasn't kidding. This is a daily driver. I drive it to work every day. I've put a lot of miles on it since I put the supercharger on, and it's been great. I haven't had any issues. Shifting great now. Really happy with it. We did really good on gas. I just spent 12 gallons all week, which is actually good, I think. I'm going to calculate it and see what it actually is. So I got my best miles per gallon so far in the supercharger of a whopping 13 miles per gallon. I was getting, or the best I got before that was 17 miles per gallon, which is really good for an automatic. Big problems. I have bigger tires. I had tires that were bigger than stock before, and then I put these on and went even bigger. So that's hurting my gearing. And I've also got 410 gears. The automatics actually came with 430s. Long story, but I have 410s in here. I don't have 430s, so that's making it even worse on top of the tires. And the gearing is just not optimal. So the next thing I'm going to have to do is gearing, and I think that's going to make it not fast, but it'll make it a lot more exciting. That's probably the best way to put it, and we'll get better miles per gallon. Just to be clear, this thing's not fast. It probably had 80 horsepower to the wheels. I think I've seen some videos. LC Engineering dynoed like a stock truck, and it had like 80 to the dyno wheels. So probably somewhere in that area. I'd guess I think we're somewhere at in between 6 and 8 pounds of boost. So we're probably at, I don't know, 120 or something like that at the wheels. So nothing exciting, but I think with gears it'll be a lot more exciting. So that's something that's probably the next project that I really want to do to this thing. Just got to keep my eye out for some gears, but that's for another day, and that's a future project. Right now, let's get these shocks on here. Hopefully that'll keep it from doing this when I'm driving it, which is very unpleasant. This is the old shock, this is the new. They're both cheap shocks. This one's 10 years old, this one's new, and the body is a lot fatter compared to this one. So I think that alone will make it work better, and it's also newer and not wore out. So let's install these and hopefully cross our fingers that fixes our problem. The new shocks are in. Let's take it for a drive and see if that's fixed our issue. All right, I took a ride and it didn't fix it. It didn't do anything. It operates exactly the same. It works good for like a little bit, and then it shakes. I think it is the shocks that are working at first, and then they heat up and aren't working, but they're not actually the problem. The problem is I'm an idiot, and I read the balancing bead chart. If you've never seen balancing beads, they go in the tire and they balance it. They're like little BBs. I read the chart wrong. I put 4 ounces in there, which is what this size in a street tire would take. And for a mud tire in this size, they're saying 10 ounces. So I've ordered more beads, and now I have to put them through the valve stem when they come in. But that should fix the problem. It didn't cost that much money, and I'm stupid. But anyway, second problem is the thicker body on the shock is rubbing, and I need to make a little clearance. So yeah, I created a lot more work for myself. Let's clearance that quick. There's a witness mark right there. And part of that's the alignment. But what I'm gonna do is just grind this bump stop down. There's a little bit of room I can grind it down, and hopefully that'll be enough. So let's take the shock out and grind it down. That ought to do the trick. I'd like to address the supercharger in the room here. Got that for 50 bucks. I was gonna put it on my Dart. I thought it was an M90 supercharger, and I did a little more research, and it's actually an M62 from what I believe, and that's too small to put on a V8. Really, the M90 is kind of small, but it would work. M62 is not going to work. It would work on maybe a 4-cylinder. That would be the best. You could run higher boost or V6. I don't have either of those, or I don't have anything to put it on. So that's going to sit for the moment until something comes up that I can use it on. I got my beads in the mail. Let me show you these real quick if you've never seen them. The concept's really simple, but like they're these little plastic, maybe glass beads, and that's pretty much all there is to it. You put them in the tire spins around, and they find whatever spot needs the more weight, and they just naturally go there, and balances your tire. The only downside is I can hear them when I come to a stop. I can hear them like make a maraca kind of noise. Other than that, they're pretty good. All right, I want to give you the pro tip. Make sure your tube's fitting tightly down there and up here. Otherwise, it's going to pop off. Tip it up. Fill the tube up a good bit with beads. And then squeeze it like this. And that'll clear the tube out. Fill it up more. Do it again. And you can do this pretty quickly. I just did the other tire in like 2 minutes. The first one took me like 10 minutes, I swear. So this is the hack. Okay, I got the beads in. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. The first one sucked, and then once I figured it out, the other 3 went like that. I could probably do all 4 in 20 minutes now. So use that tip if you ever have to do this. At the end of the video, I'll go for a ride. I think I'm gonna walk everybody around the shop. I'm just gonna like talk about projects that I'm thinking about, shop plans maybe, and also kind of make it like a tour. And comment down below if you like the ideas I have or anything, or if there's something that you think's a good idea for me to do. I think I'm gonna try and push myself and try and do 1 video a week now to try and get better with the algorithm. I feel like I'm just getting crapped on because I do like a video every 2 to 3 weeks, and it's just not enough. So I think I'm gonna try and put out more videos. So yeah, let's go around, try and give me some ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear that. I'm operating on a small budget right now. When I started this channel, my goal starting was to just spend like 20 bucks on a video. I probably have a little bit more than that now, but it'd be cool to do some cheap things too. So if you have ideas, let me know. Oh, one other thing before the shop tour. This is just something silly and stupid, and I don't know, I gotta tell somebody. But before we moved here, I lived out in the country for 4 or 5 years. I saw a skunk twice when I was out there. Now that I've moved here and I'm literally in town, like the heart of town, I've come face to face pretty much. Like the skunk was like right there, like 10 times. I swear to God. The craziest thing. I haven't got sprayed yet, but I'm like terrified I'm gonna get sprayed and stink for like a month. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of hilarious. But yeah, I probably need to throw some lights up out there so I can see if the skunk's out there. And because I'm in and out from the garage late at night and stuff, and I don't want to get sprayed by a skunk. That would be awful. I don't know. I thought that was funny. I wanted to tell you guys. Let's do like a quick shop tour, and I'll talk about projects and things. I guess let's start over here by the beer fridge. Yeah, it's a little messy over here, I guess. But I have a Harbor Freight tire changer. I got that literally like, I don't know, 15 years ago, and it sucked because I didn't have anywhere to bolt it down. And now here I have somewhere to bolt it down. And I learned that if you buy this thingamajigger and these cone things, you can actually change like a tire with it and not screw it up too bad. It took a little practice on my truck tires. I did scratch them a little bit, but now that I sort of know what I'm doing, really as far as the machine, I've actually used tire machines before. I probably changed like, I don't know, 500 tires on a tire machine. So I'm not new to it. It's just like this whole setup and not scratching your wheel is a little tricky. But I don't know, it's cool. Maybe I should make a video on that, although I don't think I have a tire to mount. But that's really cool. I put it over here so it's kind of out of the way. That's a big bag of rags, used oil, and empty beer cans. We got a can crusher to save space and all that good stuff. Beer fridge, still rocking and rolling. If you guys saw the video where I fixed it, it's still rocking and rolling. Works great. So, yeah, that's that. It's, I don't know if you can see that, 77 in here. So we could use to do some stuff to keep it from being so hot. Let me flip around here in the garage. I think step number 1 is put some plastic up here. I might be able to get away with not doing it where the boards are. I don't know. But anyway, I think put plastic up, and then I don't know if it'll help in the summer or not, but it'll definitely help in the winter because the heat won't go way up here where I'm not using it. And that'll save me some money, so I think I'm going to do that. That's really cheap. I'd love to insulate, but I don't think I can afford that. I don't know, maybe we'll buy a piece of insulation every week or something. This door is insulated decent enough, and that door is just like a tin beer can, so I might get some foam or something and put it on that door. And then that would probably help a lot with the temperatures in here. It's awful. It is cool. I have the door over there and the door over here, but I don't really like to open those because I don't really want, I don't know if it's such a big deal over here, but I'm from like New York where people would steal all your stuff. So like if you open your doors and left them open for a few hours, like somebody would see your stuff and be like, oh, we're gonna break in there and steal it. So I try not to open the doors unless I have to. The windows are nice. I do open those, and I have my old electric fan in there to blow some air in, but it's still like hot in here. It's 70 or 72 outside right now. It's 77 in here. We're just holding in all that heat from the day. So that's something I'd like to do. I don't know if that's a good video or not, but something I'd like to do to improve my quality of life. I think this tire machine could be a good video, but I need a tire to change. Here's a video I've thought of. I made this little stupid smoke thing for trying to test for vacuum leaks. It kind of works and it's cheap, but I feel like I could improve on this design. I've been doing a little bit of research, but I haven't found anything that like I think's easy. One thing I was looking at was using like e-cigarette stuff to maybe make a smoker thing, but I don't know if it's enough to do that. So I don't know. I think that'd be a cool video. I just haven't figured it out yet. Maybe I could use the other Arduino to make something. All right, let's show some more stuff. I guess I'm going to show the whole shop too here. I may have to switch to a wider lens, but that's like the workbench. it's pretty messy right now. I got the 5 horsepower on there. I built this little shelf over here to put some other stuff on. Little storage there. We got the pegboard over here that I have some things on. So some stuff's kind of organized. And this is a little organized. I guess I could show you guys. I put my, anyway, put my sockets in these. So kind of organized. I got the crappy socket organizers in there, but my sockets are nearby. And then I got another toolbox over here, and that's kind of where I keep everything. But yeah, I got a nice little workbench. It'd be cool if I had a seat that fit this properly. Maybe I could even edit videos if I had a nice seat and the climate wasn't awful up here. Although it's pretty awful out here. It's pretty hot. Shelf. Random shelf that wants to fall down. I probably shouldn't put too much more on it. I could probably throw this whole box out. It's the old wheels for this power wheels over there. We'll get to that. What else? I try to make good use of the space I have. That way I can work more efficiently. So I've been hanging as much as I can. The jack tucks in there under that saw. You know, I don't know. I've got a million bottles of antifreeze. I probably could consolidate that. Tires, I'll show you what those could go to in a minute. Let me back up a little bit, give you a better view here. This is a little sloppy, but I think it gets you a better idea of how the shop is. My jack stands, I did a little short video on that. I don't know, I just try and keep everything hung up and organized. Let me bring you over here. There's the wagon that we take to the car shows. It'd be cool to play around with that too at some point. Like maybe do electric assist or something on there. I don't know. Maybe that's something worth exploring, but that's probably kind of expensive and not super useful, I guess. I mean, I'd probably use it 6 or 8 times a year, but I can pull it too and get some exercise. So I don't know. Maybe there's different mods I could do to the wagon, make it cooler, but it's pretty nice the way it is now. The car show videos seem to suck. Nobody seems to like those. If you like the videos of me bringing my wagon to the car show and looking at parts and getting cheap superchargers, please comment down below. They don't perform well. But really nothing's performed well, so maybe I just need to keep making those. I'm not really sure. Let me know. I always go to the car show anyway. It's fun. I love it. That's why I moved here. It's for those car shows. So there's my little air compressor. It's just a cheap unit. Tucked it in there. There's the hose. So that's what we got for now. My dad has a big air compressor. I might be able to talk him out of giving up one of them. Hey, if we get enough subscribers, I could say, hey, I got a lot of subscribers now. I need help. My old Raider's up there. I was thinking maybe I'd clean that or something. I don't know. That might be stupid. This is all like garden stuff over here and miscellanea that is not. I think there's some charcoal for grilling and stuff like that. There's my air conditioner. I probably need to take that out and put that in the basement. That didn't work too well. Maybe once it's insulated it'll work okay. Yeah, that's kind of over here. Not a whole lot going on over here. Somebody built a thing to put wood up there. Probably need less things hanging from the ceiling. It's not really made to support weight. And then here's it's basically a beer can. So I think if I put some foam in here, that would greatly improve things. Oh, let me show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let me first adjust that. Bear with me a minute. Let me put the window down. This is cool, but I also don't know if this is a video. Let me put the light on. Ta-da! Oh, it still kind of looks like crap. Anyway, I've got some theater lights here. One of these is like a spotlight, or maybe they're both spotlights. I got them cheap. I never intended to put them up in here, but it might be cool to fix these and hang them up from the ceiling and just have some lights that are just always there. So I don't know. I figured I'd show you that. I don't know if that's interesting content or not. Probably not, but I have them, and it's something I would do. There's the heater. This is like a weird heater. I don't know if I've ever explained this to anybody, but my dad got frustrated with it. It doesn't work right. I think that my dad cannibalized two heaters and put them together. I think that the nozzles may be inappropriate or something. There's nothing physically wrong. I checked all the hoses. Like, I've troubleshooted everything. I've turned, there's a dial on the back of this thing. You can adjust the air fuel ratio a little bit, like, or maybe it's just the air ratio, actually. I don't know. I screwed with it a lot. What I settled on is I put some screws in here, and I literally lift this up to start it like this, let it ignite, and then I set it back down, and I have like, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I have like little screws for this to center on, and I call it a day. I say that's good enough. It runs once I do that. If I let it ignite and then put that back on, it runs. I don't know, my dad said it didn't pick up from the bottom. I literally have not messed around with that. I just drilled a hole in this bucket and I pour a little diesel in there. And I don't know. I really don't want to mess around with this thing. It works. It's stupid, but it works. So, I don't know. That's what I'm working with, guys. At least I have heat. That's all I can say. So, on to another project I'd like to do. I have this fire truck thing. It's like a pedal car. These aren't worth anything. I've seen a bunch of them. It's maybe worth $50 at best. So I want to use the body, and I want to build a go-kart, and it's a metal body, so I might need to like stretch it or do something to make it a little more comfortable. But I think I want to make a frame and then maybe use like these tires over here, like these big lawnmower tires in the back, these in the front, and make a cool go-kart. My dad was saying maybe do like a gasser kind of go-kart or something. It honestly, it doesn't really even need to be a fire truck. I do have like little ladders that hang on here, but that could potentially come off and it could just be a car. I don't know what's cooler. I don't know. I just need to start building it and find out, but I need to kind of find a go-kart for cheap that has the spindles and stuff, and I haven't found anything just yet. We do have our handy 5 horsepower motor over here that I got running, so there's that. Then we have this Power Wheels up here, and I put air tires on it, and like I made a thing to kind of go here, and it worked a little bit, but it's really not working out. Part of me is wondering if I should just make a little adapter thing that's a little better, but then really ultimately what I probably want to do is just put like a different electric motor in there, and then my kid can drive it and have like an electric motor with a brake on the rear axle, and maybe keep the stock steering to start or something. But ultimately I'd like to make like a frame and make this thing really cool someday, because it's like this cool hot rod. I think it looks cool. Like honestly, probably one of the cooler Power Wheels I've ever seen. So I think there's a lot of potential there. But like the plan, the idea right now is like a cooler electric motor and stuff, and like those are kind of expensive with the batteries, so it's just not really in the cards right now. We are close to getting monetized. Like, I don't think you make a ton being monetized, but $20 a month goes a long way. I'm pretty good at spending little money to do things. There's our little welder. Oh, I made all this room over here, by the way. I have a parts washer and a press that I'm going to put over in this area. So I have those things. I probably need to rebuild the parts washer, clean it out. I guess put diesel fuel in or something. Oh, here's another thing. I have some seat belts in here. I thought I had a latch out. Well, anyway. Let me key into this real quick. So I have some seat belts in here, and I want to put them in the 4Runner. So here, let me grab the light. This could be a cool project. So I may do this. It wouldn't take too much to do. This is actually kind of good for me. Sorry this is long, guys, but this is good, I think, for everybody. So I put these Ford Focus SVT seats in here, and the back, I have the Ford seatbelts in here now. I folded the seat forward so the things aren't sticking out. But over here, I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, I need to move the pivot point up. I have some nuts to do that. I just need to weld it. And then what I was going to try and do is on the front, I was going to try and put the Ford, let me dial this back. I was going to try and put the Ford seat belts in here because it looks very similar. So I got some universal Ford seat belts. I think they'll bolt up here. And then over here, this is like the Toyota one, and it's kind of junky. The Ford one has like a metal thingy, like it'll hold it up over here. So I think the combination, like I think it'll just be nice because it'll match the rear. And then like this seat belt's pretty like wore out. The like this part flips over and stuff on me. I have to like right it. And it's just kind of annoying. It probably would look better if it was like a new black. So that's like a short video I might do. Just wanted to, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Is there any interest there? I guess I'll probably make it anyway. I need to try and make weekly videos, but yeah, what else do we got over here? This is my fishing rod area right here and fishing gear. I think I went fishing once this year, which is kind of sad. I've been working on the channel. I do like to go fishing though. I've seen a thing online where you can make like pole holders that go on the door, and then it'll go up and hold the poles. I might do that to save space. If I could get some room over here, that would be kind of cool. Like the press could go here, the parts washer could go here, something could go here instead of this stuff. I do have this seat I made. It's a another Ford Focus SVT seat. I bought another one for like 20 bucks for the bottom, so I had a nicer bottom on there. So this one isn't as nice, and then I attached it to a swivel chair, and I'm really not doing anything with it, so I don't know what to do with it. It's kind of in the way all the time. It doesn't fit over here because it's tall. It's really just in the way. But I'd hate to get rid of it. It's kind of like a spare seat for my truck. So I don't know what to do with that. I already have computer chairs, and that would kind of ruin the aesthetic inside anyway if I had that chair. It was just a fun project to do. Let's see, is there anything else? One other thing, I don't know if I could, maybe I could do a little project on it, but I think I'm going to get a 2006 Honda Accord with 200,000 miles. And it's just going to be like a beater, but I'm getting it for free. And I don't know, maybe I could do like $50. Maybe I invest $50 and see how cool I can make it for 50 bucks. I don't know, that might be a cool idea. I don't know. Just kind of throwing things around. I probably should make a catch can for the truck or install one on there. It's leaking a lot of oil into the motor and everything. It's got a lot of blow by from the supercharger. I think a catch can would be pretty smart. So that's another thing. I thought about maybe doing like water methanol injection, like a DIY thing. That would be cool. I don't know if it's that practical for this truck because it's basically in boost like 50% of the time it's driving. So I would probably need like a massive tank to do that. So I don't know if it would be a cool video, but I don't know if it's worth my time to actually use on my truck. But yeah, I think that's all the current video. Oh, wait. I got one more video idea. I haven't figured out how to pull it off. But one thing I thought would be kind of cool to play around with this motor, and I don't really know how to dyno it to figure out if it helps or not. But one thing I was thinking is I've seen compressed supercharging on the internet, and I don't know, I feel like I could use the compressor over there and rig something up and kind of compress supercharge this and just see what it does. I mean, maybe it'll blow up. If it blows up, I paid 10 bucks. I got what $14 invested. that's worthwhile for a video if I can figure it out. I think I need a two-way or a valve here to close, and then maybe I put the air pressure through here and through the tank. I'm not sure how to work with the diaphragm, but I think you would want to pressurize the tank and this, and then you want something that'll, like, this needs to close when the pressure hits. So that's another idea I have. I don't know how to pull it off. I haven't entirely figured that out, but I think that would be a really cool video. I don't think many people are doing that. But at the same time, I don't know if that's something that gets searched a lot, you know. It kind of was, I saw an article on it like a couple months ago, but I haven't really seen anything since. So I don't know. Do you think that'd be a cool video? I'm throwing that one up in the air, thinking about it. Might do it. If I can do it cheap, I'm definitely going to do it just for fun. It might not be very scientific, but is anything on YouTube? I don't know. I don't know. I think that's all the ideas I currently have. Give me some comments. You have other ideas? What would be a cheap video? Maybe it's something that doesn't even do with anything that I have. Oh, I would like to make bumpers for my truck. The rear Smittybilt bumper. The tubes are just junk. I'd love to just cut the tubes off and then make a bumper that goes to the structure. The structure's fine. That's something else I could do, but that's another one of those things that costs money. I need to buy the steel and everything to do that. So that's more than 20 bucks. If I could find something scrap or that would work well, or something cheap to buy on the marketplace or something, I'd do that. But I haven't stumbled across that yet. But that would be a cool project, front rear bumpers for that thing, so it's got something a little beefier. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you think. We're going to take this thing for a ride real quick and see if it actually fixed it. I hope it did. And yeah, thank you guys for supporting me, hating me, loving me, whatever. Everybody hated Whistling Diesel at first. I feel like you hate him, and then you go, oh, this is kind of cool watching him destroy stuff. So I feel like people could hate you and then like you. So if you hate me, like me, whatever. Just keep watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I think I fixed it. I still have a little jiggle in the steering wheel, but it's not shaking the whole truck around. We're doing probably 55. And yeah, I think it's fixed. I might need a little bit more of a steering stabilizer, but it's not too bad. I can live with this. And that's it. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you next week, hopefully.